¡Órale!
Sí,
Ah,
señor.
Hey!
In memory
Oh,
of
the
Chente
Primos are
right there,
back,
man.
baby.
El grito for Chente, man.
That was a grito for Chente. Just a little bit of
Uh,
a preview of what we're going to start off with. But first off, everybody, thank you, bienvenidos, and welcome to the Familia FFB podcast. Los Primos are back. Primo Hector, ¿cómo estamos, baby?
Dude, I survived another year of busy season at work. I'm in Medicare sales, so if anybody knows, like if you can equate that to like being an accountant for tax season, and like December 7th was like their April 15th, just like it was bananas, a lot of long hours and crazy stuff. But I made it, and I'm back.
Yeah, you survived. You survived, and you're on the other
Yes.
side, baby.
Woo!
You are on the other
I came out
side. Salud.
like Andy
Salud. I
Dufresne,
forgot
man.
my
I
beer
came
for
out,
this one.
yeah, I'm like Andy Dufresne, man. I came out clean on the other side.
Well, familia, we're live on YouTube. Muchas gracias for joining us, and please make sure you give us a like and subscribe. Also, you'll be able to listen to us on Apple, Google, Spotify. We're on Facebook Live. We're on Twitter Periscope. So estamos en vivo. So if you got any questions, throw them in the chat, familia. We are going to go through some Week 15 games, and it is on. But first off, baby, I did you gave a little bit of a taste of it. Sunday was a sad day for Mexico, for La Familia,
for the world.
Adios mío. I mean, I did a little something on the Los Pickups column that I did, just kind of talking a little bit about what Chente means to us, Vicente Fernandez. And quite honestly, it's like I put it out there. I said, you know what? It's like the day Elvis died for Mexico.
Right. For sure.
And it's very, I mean, it seriously is when we get a mariachi going on at so many of our familia get-togethers. Is it at all complete without some Volver, El Rey, just some?
Oh yeah. I think you'd be hard pressed to go to any gathering where they have a mariachi there playing for hour or two or five, and they're not playing and they don't play a Chente song. You know what I'm saying? Like there's going to be at least one, if not more, but generally at least one. Chente's had such an impact on, like you said, Mexico, on the world. The music is, it's the international language, right? Everyone speaks music, right? And he's impacted so many people around the world, not just Mexico, not just here in California, LA, America, just worldwide. The music is, music is forever, and he's going to live on forever through some of the greatest music, not just Mexican music or just greatest music you could ever hear. That voice was just, just top of the mountain. Just an incredible voice, incredible man. Just incredible musician, sorely missed.
Oh man, it really is. It was. I got a little bit of a taste of what everybody was feeling. I was at the Charger game on Sunday, and it was something. It was they played his music, and the DJ just threw it out there. Oh, wait a second, we got Eagle Dan Turner. Eagle Dan, ¿cómo estamos, baby? ¿Cómo estamos? Looking forward to having you back, baby. I'm going to talk some Zero RB and some Eagles. Salud, brother. Salud. And during the game, they talked about the fact that they mentioned his passing and what he meant to Mexico, and then they
mentioned that at the Charger game.
At the Charger game, and then they played Volver, and the stadium almost drowned out his
right, the singing. Yes.
So loud. It was so loud. I actually recorded it, and I put it on Twitter, and I tagged Beto Duran, Jeff Garcia, and a few other people, a few other Latinos in the media, Adrian Garcia Marquez, who's la voz de los Chargers. And Beto tweeted back at me, and he goes, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to talk about this in a few minutes and because he's on CBS 2 on Sunday afternoons, and
right, and he mentioned it that they did that. That's so cool.
He talked about the impact of Chente, what he means
Mm-hmm.
to Latin America, and just I mean, salud, salud Chente. Un
Mm-hmm.
trago de
Mm-hmm.
tequila para ti. Un trago
Right,
de
for sure.
gracias por la música.
Raising a glass right here for
Yep,
the man.
it's gonna live beyond you. So you know what, and it's Los Playoffs, baby.
Let's
It
go.
is Los Playoffs. You're the number one seed. You're
I'm the
in
number
our
one seed in our Familia League. Yes.
1.0 league. You and Tony Guerrero, Primo
Uh-huh.
Tony,
Uh-huh.
are the number one seed.
Number
On
one
the
and
other
two, yep,
side, on
respectively. Yeah.
on the two, I'm the number 4 seed in that one. In our Familia 2.0 league, Primo Mikey Reese and his son-in-law Coley Ruiz. Also, it just so happens that they have the same last name. They're the 1 and 2 seeds, and several others. My compa Joe is in the playoffs. Primo Manny.
I missed out on that one. I missed out on the 2.0, but yeah,
all 3 of us did.
Yeah.
Oh, you me and Ricky.
No, you.
Yeah, I missed out. Well, I had Kyler Murray.
Oh no, you were 14 on. Okay, that's right. Yeah.
I'm in the 1.0. Okay. I'm the 4th seed in the 1.0 league, even though I had the same record as you, but you blew everybody out in points. And just real quick before we get into it, I mean, it's before we get into really get into the show. Now, you did it second. You led the league in points with Calvin Ridley out.
Yes,
as your number 2 pick. Missing most of the season. I mean, it's how much do you attribute that to luck and the fact that you've been listening?
I think part of it, I mean, obviously I got to give shout outs to all the experts that we all follow, on Instagram and all the others, these other pages and that experts that
and our own hashtag research.
Yes, hashtag research. Javonte Williams, I drafted him, and he's just really come along. I held on to him, and I picked up Madison off waivers midseason, and he gave me some chunk points when he played. When Dalvin Cook's been out, he's given me some chunk points big time. So it all is not lost when if you ever have a season and you have one of your top, because he was my second round pick, right? I picked him up second round, and Calvin Ridley, and I think he played like two games or something like that. I worked the waiver wire, like I said, I got Madison, and I have Jonathan Taylor. I mean, what else can you say? I think most of the league, if you drafted, pretty reasonably, if you have Jonathan Taylor, you're going to be somewhere at the top of the hill, because that guy just, did some magical things this year and scored points in like mega bunches. And then, of course, I had a nice stack with Herbert and Mike Williams. So putting those two guys together, the nice stack worked. Herbert, I mean, Williams maybe not so much. But Herbert's been, when he scores points in chunks, 25, 30, 35 points a game. So that really helped me a lot. So Ridley, all is not lost, for all of our watchers out there. If one of your top 3 guys goes out with an injury, just keep the faith, during your season. There's going to be other guys in your lineup that, out of nowhere, like Javonte, Melvin Gordon was the guy for most of the season. These last couple of weeks, Javonte just blowing up. Like last week, I think he had 20 points. Week before that, like 18 points. It's just like he's just blowing up. His last couple of weeks, he's just really, really come on strong and gave me those chunk points that I needed to maintain the top spot.
Well, I tell you, on my side, I'll do it real quick because we got us a question that I got on Twitter for us.
Nice.
It really, Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, kind of like that foundational basis.
Get a stack.
Alvin Kamara was great. I rode Michael Carter there for a while. He helped me when Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but really it was my receivers that really, CeeDee Lamb, Deontay Johnson, George Kittle, who has been an absolute monstro, Jalen Waddle. And I actually had weeks where I had to sit someone between Jalen Waddle, Elijah Moore, and T. Higgins. I had to sit I had to sit 2 of those 3 guys actually, and Brandon Cooks. So I could only start one of those guys. So it's muy difícil the choices. I mean, it was ended up with a deep roster, but yeah, now it's nitty gritty time.
Right. So I wanted to say I also had David Montgomery. So I'm sitting there with with Jonathan Taylor and David Montgomery, and I have Javonte, and I have Madison there, and I have Darrell Williams. When CEH was out, Darrell Williams filled in really nicely, and talking about points and why I'm the top again, filling in off the waiver wire. That guy came in those games where CEH was out. He did a fantastic job. I think he scored a TD like all but one of his games where he started, and he's even now gets points in bunches. Last week he scored a touchdown. So Darrell Williams, and like I said, waiver wire, work the wire, and you'll be fine.
Okay, so we got a question in the chat that I pulled off of Twitter from our amigo Roto Heat Craig. Okay, so we got to pick two of these to start. We got, let's see, Jacoby Myers, Jamison Crowder, Marvin Jones. Who's your two? Nick Kine Westbrook. Nick Kine Westbrook in there too.
Man, Marvin Jones. Jacksonville's just a train. I was going to say a train fire, right? Train wrecks and dumpster fire is a train fire. So I don't want anything to do with the Jacksonville game. I think they're the second lowest point total after the Raiders Browns game. So I'm staying away from that game, completely. There's nothing going on with Jacksonville. Stay away from that. Crowder, Myers, between those three, I'm gonna lean on you. What do you think between them? Stay away from Marvin Jones for sure, because that game's just, like I said, a train fire. But between the other three guys, who do you like?
I do like. The one guy I put in is Crowder, because he's gonna get the targets with Elijah Moore out. Right. Honestly, I think I go Jacoby Myers in there. He's been getting some consistent targets. And the Colts have given up some yardage to the wide receivers of late, so I would definitely look at that. So I'd probably look at those two, because I don't much as there's a part of me that really wants to start Marvin Jones against the Texans, who are number 21 against wide receivers.
I mean, even James Robinson. I mean, I don't even know. People are sitting James Robinson for this game. I mean,
if anybody sits James Robinson, they're gonna hear why not to sit James Robinson for this one. So we're okay. We're gonna talk about that in a minute.
It's a popular opinion, man. I'm saying Jacksonville is they're just a mess. So
they're a train wreck. They're a train wreck, but you know what? It's such a good matchup that you still gotta. And they're still going to try and win a game, and you still got to look at you still have to look at him as their best player. So, you can't as the best
Lawrence
option.
threw what for? Lawrence. The savior of Jacksonville. He's really not bringing it either. 4 interceptions last game. I don't know, man. He's not. Maybe he's just not NFL material. I mean, it sometimes it just happens that way. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like 4 picks. He's an NFL quarterback. He's a rookie quarterback, but still 4 picks. That's just, I don't know. I mean, I think one was tipped, but still 3 were his fault. I'm just saying.
Well, Peyton Manning led the NFL in interceptions his rookie year. So
this is still T. Lawrence's rookie year. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I might want to fade Marvin Jones still, maybe next year.
Well, you know about me and my second year jumps, so we'll definitely talk about that one.
Exactly.
So I think Jacoby Myers and
Jamison Crowder.
So we'll look at that. And you touched on it a little bit. We're gonna get in. It's time for some chisme, primo.
Chisme, let's go.
So we got a COVID outbreak, and it's funny. Hopefully, people are watching us on a live stream. So ojalá, We'll be looking at please por favor if you're watching now, but if you're listening, definitely there's a lot to keep an eye on. There's so many players that are out on COVID. 37 players were taken out on COVID protocols. Yeah, wow. It's just so.
I'm thankful to have a first round bye, because man, this week is going nuts. Oh my God, everyone's gonna be wearing masks and stuff. I heard all teams are having virtual meetings this week. It's crazy. It's really
Está muy loco. Va a ser muy duro. And the Browns and the Rams right now are the teams that are most impacted. Right? And so right now it does not look like any schedules are going to be impacted. Obviously, one of the games with the Browns, it's a satellite game. It's a standalone game on Saturday afternoon. I mean, that's a game that they want to have be in prime time. You got, Browns and Raiders. You're not going to have Baker Mayfield. We'll talk about that one in a second, but really you got to keep. Yeah, he tested positive.
Teaser.
Yeah, so we'll get into that one.
Why not, George?
We'll get into that one. But another teaser, DeAndre Hopkins. He's expected to miss the rest of the season. So
what?
we're gonna talk. Yeah, knee injury. Now they haven't said anything about surgery.
I'm knocking on wood with two hands, man, because I don't want any injury bugs or nothing like that happening to my team. So I'm knocking on wood.
I want no more injury bugs for anybody's teams. I want everybody to win a fair fight. Everybody win a fair fight.
Yes.
So we'll be talking about that one in a few minutes. So we're just gonna get into the games. We're gonna ask questions about each team in the game, questions about the games. And we'll kind of answer them right here. So we got Chiefs 9-4 at the Chargers 8-5. I think this is the game of the week. The Chiefs are favored by 3. And it's 52 over under. So here's the interesting sidelight about this game. If the Chargers win, it's a first place tie, and they have the tiebreaker because they swept the Chiefs. So both teams are coming in after great wins. The Chargers beat up on the Giants 37-21 in a game that wasn't that close, and then the Chiefs absolutely destroyed the Raiders 48-9. But on the Chiefs side, is Travis Kelce going to come back to his dominant self? He's 3 for 27 in each of his last 2 games. He had 4 targets last week, but in 7 of the previous 8 games, he had at least 8 targets in each game. Are you worried about Travis Kelce?
No, you never ever worry about Travis Kelce, especially. I mean, last game the Chiefs kind of came to life again. You know what I mean? You kind of saw them. The Chiefs that we're kind of used to seeing. So yeah, I think there's been a lot of talk lately about how defenses, except the Raiders, how defenses have kind of figured out, quote unquote, playing 2 deep safeties against the Chiefs, and this is the way to stop the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs have already gone through that exercise and figured out, okay, like we're not going to do that anymore. The deep bombs to Tyreek Hill are kind of done. Like that they kind of that ship has sailed, I think, for the Chiefs. But I think they're going to figure out. They have figured out, obviously, against the Raiders, and going forward, I think how to win again, the way the Chiefs know how to win. And I think that it definitely includes like Kittle down the middle, Kelce down the middle. I mean, I think we're going to see even more and more Kelce being involved because the deep balls are being taken care of or are being defensed a lot better, lately against the Chiefs. So I think if the Chiefs are going to be successful, finding Kelce is going to be one of the main avenues to do that. So I look for him to step it up for sure, and his points to start increasing again.
And the Chargers are number 23 against tight ends. So it's something that it's really something to kind of it's been very curious and to see what has been going on with Kelce, and people are starting to talk. Is he going to be the tight end 1 next year? Does he really still deserve to be the tight end 1? And going into
it's interesting. It's interesting because like the shift that defenses have made against the Chiefs, it's going to change things up a lot. So it's to be seen, but how people have been talking about, have we figured out Lamar Jackson yet? I think some teams definitely did figure out the Chiefs offense, and we've seen it, Mahomes fantasy totals. I mean, I don't even know what they are right now, George, but if you could probably look them up, Patrick Mahomes is probably what? QB8, QB9?
I think he's like number 5.
As far as fantasy points go?
Yeah, I'm going to look at it right now.
It's nowhere near. I mean, he's been number 1 like for the past 3 or 4 years in a row, and this year he's got to be like I would say out of the top 5, I would guess. But as far as the game,
he was QB1 deep in it. He's actually number 5. He's exactly number 5, and right. But
yeah, we've expected a lot. We expect a lot more out of Patrick Mahomes, right? He can run for yards. His pass to Tyreek Hill, and he's QB5. And I'm sure 99% of draft boards out there, maybe including Josh Allen, but most leagues out there pick Pat Mahomes as QB1. Patrick Mahomes as QB1.
Oh yeah,
and he's QB5. You know what I'm saying? So that's a great example of how things never always turn out the way you think they will in the fantasy season. That's a perfect example right there. Patrick Mahomes, QB5, and we're going into, we're this late in the season, and he's not QB1, and he's not 2, and he's not 3, and he's not 4 in points. That's actually kind of, and he hasn't been injured. So that's kind of nuts. As far as the game itself, I have Justin Herbert, so I'm partial to this game. I like the Chargers. Keep Kansas City's -3. I would actually take the Chargers +3. They've beaten the Chiefs before, right? They did last year in the playoffs.
They beat the Chiefs earlier.
Earlier
Week
this
3.
year, and then it was the rivalry, not the rivalry, but the revenge game, because last year they Herbert got beat in the final seconds, I think, on a Butker field goal, and then yes, they've already beaten the Chiefs once this year, and I look for it to happen again, because especially Keenan Allen's been hanging out playing golf and relaxing for the last 2 weeks, and now he's going to come back fresh and refreshed, and that's Herbert's number one guy. He's going to be ready. He's going to be spry and quick, and look out for Keenan Allen. If you got him in PPR, it's game over.
The tough thing is going to be left tackle, who's playing, the Rashawn Slater, who's playing at the very least a Pro Bowl level. Some say all pro level. He's out with the COVID, and you got Austin Eckler down with an ankle. So it's going to be all on Herbert. It's going to be all on Herbert.
I mean, who's better at the 5-yard, quick slant? Keenan Allen, that quick one. And then when they jump on that, Mike Williams is healthy. He was COVID. He's already been marked as healthy, so he's got the healthy tag, good to go. And then they've got some other up and comers, right? They have who are the two other receivers?
Well, Jalen Guyton and Josh Palmer.
Parham too, and Palmer.
Yeah.
I mean, they've it's kind of like it's under the radar, but the Chargers receiving core is pretty badass. You got to be careful with them. Eckler being in, Eckler being out. I mean, they still have Justin Jackson.
Jackson and Joshua Kelly both got some work on.
Right. So, I mean, they're obviously no one is Austin Eckler, obviously, but they can do some things there to at least keep defenses honest and open up the passing game. They have a ton of great receivers on that team, and I think the Chiefs are in for a rough day.
I think it's going to be one of the best games of the weekend.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I can see if Derwin James is not back, so there's still a question if he's back. And Asante Samuel, their other DB, there's also a question if he's going to be back. I think this game could really shoot out and blow past that 52, just because.
Don't disagree. And they're playing indoors at the Charger Stadium, so watch out. I mean, perfect conditions, no wind, no nothing. I mean, they're just going to be throwing darts all day long. And like you said, for the Charger offense, even more so, because I mean, did you see that pass? It was some AWS stuff. Yeah, it was the ball traveled, I think, 65 yards in the air.
Hit him on a dime too. He dropped a dime. It was quite honestly, it may have been the greatest pass I've ever seen live.
Dude, what was that?
And the crazy thing was, so I remember I was there. My seats were on the side where Justin Herbert was running toward. And then as he was about to let go of the ball, it looked like he got hit. It looked like he got sacked. And then all of a sudden there I see the ball and it's in flight. And it was like the whole stadium was everything was in slow motion.
It was like at the end when the ball hits the lights and explodes.
Exactly. As the ball is about 3/4 of the way, I look and see. I look and see that Jalen Guyton has 2 steps on the DB, and the whole stadium is just kind of like, oh my god, it's kind of like rising to a crescendo, and that he's going to catch the ball, and he catches it right at the goal line.
That's an SB award,
one of the best plays of the year. All right, we gotta. So if we're gonna get into some more games, we're gonna make sure to get pick up the pace a little bit. So
let's go.
Vamos al sábado gigante, Raiders.
Sábado gigante.
Browns. So it's 2 teams that have just had it rough. The Raiders off the field stuff. The Browns, they're just injuries. As we mentioned, COVID has hit them hard. On the Raiders side, you got no Darren Waller. Oh, by the way, this is the only game that's got rain in the forecast. So there are a lot. It's cold weather's coming in, but this one's got drizzle possible. So it's not even full on rain or anything like that. Winds are not expected to be a problem for any of the games. So you got drizzle possible. You got no Darren Waller, but Hunter Renfrow has been el hombre. In the last 6 games, these are his targets: 9, 9, 4, 9, 10, and 14. He got a 33% target share last week. He's a top 12 wide receiver 5 of the last 6 weeks. I mean, Hunter Renfrow. I mean, it's so funny.
Who
You always
knew?
kind of, yeah.
Waiver
People talk
wire
about
again. Working the waiver wire. Somebody picked him up on the. No one drafted Hunter Renfrow, right? Or you know what I mean? Or you know what I'm saying? He wasn't very highly drafted, right? Unless you're like a Raider fan.
if he was drafted in our league, he was drafted in the back half of it,
Mm-hmm.
in the double digit rounds. So
Yeah.
because everybody was talking about before the season, it was Waller, it was Ruggs, it was Edwards,
Exactly.
and
Waller and Ruggs and Brian Edwards. Exactly. Renfrow was like number 5 or number 4 on in the pecking order of Raider receivers. Kind of like an afterthought almost. So most if you had Renfrow on your team, most likely you grabbed him on the waiver wire.
Yeah, you're starting him. Or I picked him I picked them late in a couple leagues that are really really deep. I had one where it's like I picked them in the teens, and it was like a 20 rounds.
Exactly.
So every team where I have him, he's doing well. So another thing, Josh Jacobs is a start. 15 targets in the last 2 games. Familia. Get him in your lineup.
Wow.
This
is a wide receiver. He's
the
a
Browns,
wide receiver.
yeah, the Browns are 17 against running backs. So, speaking of the Browns, we talked about Mayfield on the COVID list. Head coach Kevin Stefanski on the COVID list. This is the second time he's going to miss a game. Last year he missed the playoff game where they blew out the Steelers. 8 more Browns on the list. So even in a good matchup, are you starting anyone other than Nick Chubb? It's looking like Kareem Hunt's going to be out.
Who's quarterback for the Browns?
Case Keenum. Case Keenum,
he's serviceable. You're starting Nick Chubb for sure.
Yeah, you're starting Nick Chubb. I don't know if I'm starting any other receivers.
Well, here's the thing. It's the playoffs, George. I don't know if anyone is trusting their receivers to Case Keenum. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have an option, like my receiver with Case Keenum or some other receiver, you know what I mean? I think people are gonna take a back seat in that one. I don't know if you're starting your receivers with Case Keenum at the helm.
Yeah,
who's their tight end over there too? Their tight end is
well, it's their tight ends are either hurt or on COVID, so it's just so
who's left? That's why Vegas has him as the 38, the lowest point total of the week, 38.5. Yeah, based on
I think
that's a red flag. Low point total means low production, means don't start those guys on your fantasy team.
Yeah, I think it's Austin Hooper is
right.
One of the because I know David Njoku's has been out. I mean, quite honestly, I think Hooper's on the COVID list. Yeah, he's on the COVID list. So it's just ay Dios mío, esto duele. Esto duele. So so I really think it's just Chubb. Yeah, let's go to the next game. Saturday night. Saturday night's all right for fighting. Patriots at Colts. I think this is a great game. It's a 45 over under, another indoor game. So 2.5 point, the Colts favorite. Now, I'm looking at Damian Harris. A lot of people are kind of like pick either or. I mean, people are saying, well, you start Damian Harris and you start Ramondre Stevenson if you have to. I'm starting both of them. I really think both of them. I mean, Harris is nursing a hamstring. Stevenson has gotten double-digit carries. Both have gotten double-digit carries in the previous 3 games. I love this. I'm firing up both of them. Maybe not on the same team.
I mean, Patriots. They're known to use multiple guys, multiple tight ends. Multiple running backs. They've had James White and Sony Michel in the past. They've racked up points before. I don't have a problem starting both of these guys. Like you said, in different leagues, if you have them. Yeah, both of these guys, I look for them to put up some points in this game. It's the Patriots, man. They're gonna do whatever they can to whatever works. And I think in this game, the Patriots against the Colts, they'll do a lot of running. And I like both of these guys.
No, I definitely. And we talked about Myers as a possibility. Kendrick Bourne's another possibility to start, kind of deep flex picks. The Colts, is Jonathan Taylor bulletproof? So he beat up the Bucks. He beat up the Bucks for 83 yards in the last game before the bye. He beat up the Bills for 185 yards and 5 TDs.
The Bills defense is nothing to sneeze at, man. The Bills defense is not a joke. And he busted them for 5 TDs. Jonathan Taylor, he's kind of like the AP that back in the day, and kind of like who was Ricky Williams, like those kind of guys where you can't stop them. You can only hope to contain them, kind of thing. And Jonathan Taylor's just, and obviously the Colts O-line is something special. For any running back to get 5 touchdowns in a game, your offensive line is doing something very right. So if that's, based on that, the fact that Jonathan Taylor, whenever your team is the number 1 running back with the most yards and the most touchdowns in the season, your offensive line is not even just elite, but like whatever the word is above elite, they're that word, whatever that word is. So which means they're going to run on anybody. They're going to take you out. So that's who the Colts offensive line is. And yeah, I'm sorry, Patriots, but Jonathan Taylor's going to run all over you.
I think so. I think the Patriots have been really good against the run, but quite honestly, I don't know if they haven't seen JT, and it's
exactly
in his stadium.
Indoors, nice cozy weather. He knows the turf. He's comfortable there. Yeah, it's going to be on for sure.
It's going to be interesting how Carson Wentz and Mac Jones do, because these are the 2 defenses that are 1 and 2, Patriots being number 1, against the quarterback since week 10. So they're really buckling down on quarterbacks. And
I mean, the thing is, how will they be able to do that if he's just handing the ball off, or a quick dump off pass, or a quick screen pass? You know what I mean? What are they going to do to Carson Wentz? If they start the game running like 15 running plays in a row, what is that? If they're so good against the quarterback, what does that mean? And then when the Patriots are least expecting it, boom, there's Michael Pittman. So yeah, the Colts are dangerous, man. The Colts are dangerous, man. And the Patriots, like you said, the Patriots have been a great defense, but they ain't seen the Colts yet. So we'll see what happens. But I like the Colts here. They're favored by 2.5. I'd say take the Colts.
All right. Well, let's go to Sunday. Vamos al domingo. Siempre en domingo.
Let's go.
Panthers 5-8 at Bills 7-6. The Bills are 10.5 point favorites playing at home. 44.5 point over under. This is nowhere near what that Monday Night Football game against the Patriots was. The weather's going to be it's going to be cold, but it's not going to be windy. It's not going to be. There's not going to be rain. On the Panthers side, I mean, they're just a train wreck right now. Cam Newton, turnover machine. I know you're starting DJ Moore. Are you starting?
I had to buy.
Well, I'm starting DJ Moore. I'm starting DJ Moore in another league.
Yeah,
Panthers.
I mean, yes. Cam Newton's a turnover machine, but he'll still get a couple in there. DJ Moore, so got a bank on.
What about Chuba Hubbard? He got 10 carries last week against Atlanta. Atlanta's a pretty forgiving defense. I'm looking at Chuba for this week, and I'm just kind of like I know the Bills have gotten beat up by 2 elite running teams, the Patriots and the right now the Buccaneers are an elite every offense, running and receiving. So the Bills are number 28 against the running back. Is Chuba Hubbard going to get enough volume to be viable in this week?
Well, I think what we're going to see, NFL is a copycat league, right? If Jonathan Taylor was able to score 5 TDs against the Bills, then the Panthers are obviously going to watch that tape, and whatever it was that the Colts did against the Bills, that the Panthers are going to just try to replicate that. They're not going to be as successful. Obviously, their O-line is not the same as the Colts O-line, but they're probably going to have some success. I look for Chuba Hubbard at least to have 1 rushing TD here. But yeah, they're going to open up some holes for him. He's going to get some good chunk plays, I think, mixed in there. So yeah, I'm starting Chuba Hubbard for sure.
So on the other side, we're lighting a veladora that Josh Allen is going to be okay. Porque he had that foot sprain that he got at the end of the game against the Bucks. They're expecting he's going to play. He's limited in practice. They hasn't been ruled out. I mean, that game that he had 308 passing yards, 109 rushing yards. I think they pointed out he's only the 4th quarterback in NFL history to do that, 300, 100. And he got 3 TDs. Just, I mean, I had one of my teams where I had him and George Kittle. So I'm
pretty sure you won that. Or you won your week.
Oh my goodness. That one has crazy scoring with a lot of bonuses. I got 300 points though. 300 points in that league where 200. Where like 225 points is a great week. and I got like, I got 300.
Yeah,
It was
I think
ridiculous.
I think you did well that week.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. So Veladora for Josh Allen.
Yeah, man.
It's looking like Emmanuel Sanders is going to be out for this game. So I'm thinking Gabriel Davis is going to get a little extra work there. So
yep.
We're going to get in there. All right, Cardinals at Lions. 13.
I feel so bad for the Lions this week. Oh my God. Oh, the Cardinals are so mad that they lost. Oh my God, they're just gonna come and just pulverize the poor Lions. It's gonna be bad.
How do you think they're gonna do it? I mean, there's gonna be there's no DeAndre Hopkins. We talked about that one. You got Kirk, you got Christian Kirk, you got AJ Green, you got Zach Ertz, the tight end, and Rondell Moore. Do you think it's just gonna be sprinkling of anyone among the four of them, or is it gonna be?
You don't forget about Kyler Murray, the runner. I mean, he's gonna rush for 125 yards that game. You know what I mean? He's gonna probably rush for 125, 2 TDs. He's gonna have 1 TD to AJ Green, 1 TD to Zach Ertz. It's gonna be an S show. It's gonna be bad. I mean, even Vegas has them as 13.5-point favorites. It's gonna be bad. It's just gonna be bad. I mean, the only
I'll tell you though, this one fits into my my.
No, it doesn't. No, this is an anger game. No, this is an anger game. The Cardinals are so mad they lost. You don't even know. They're like all of them are like the Incredible Hulk. Like their clothes is like ripping. They're so mad that they lost that game. They're just like, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be really bad.
Destroy.
Yeah.
So on the Lions,
they're minus 13.5. Take the Arizona minus 13.5. It's gonna be like 38-5. I don't even know how to get 5, but it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be really bad.
So it's not gonna go over. On the Lions side, is anyone startable? I mean, they had a guy named Craig Reynolds, undrafted free agent, go for 99 yards last week. Though Amon-Ra St. Brown he's gotten 12 targets in each of the last 2 games, and the Cardinals are number 26 against wide receivers of late. Do you think he's a guy I would consider?
I mean, you could consider. I mean, if you're
deep flex.
I mean, if you're Kingsbury, you know, what's your game plan? You know what I'm saying? Let's control the clock. Let's just keep the ball as long as we can, and just, you know, get chunk yards and do whatever the heck we want, and then we just go home without getting anybody hurt.
Yeah,
you know. So they're gonna. I mean, as far as like time of possession, it's gonna be like 80% to 20%, and maybe that's even conservative. Maybe like 90%, 10%. The Cardinals are just gonna have the ball all game long. Their defense is enough to shut down the Lions easily. So every time you turn the TV on, or you go for a snack, or you go to the restroom, and you come back and every time red zone goes to that game, it's going to be, oh, the Cardinals are in the red zone, and then the red zone moves away, and then like 20 minutes later, the red zone comes back. Hey, the Cardinals are in the red zone again. Like, it's going to be all Cardinals, man. I don't even think the Lions will get in the red zone.
So I got a funny for me, Zach Ertz story on Monday Night Football. I don't know how closely you were watching the game, but Zach Ertz, he caught a ball and he got stopped at the 1 yard line.
I watched the game.
And then James Conner ran it in after that.
Yes.
So if Ertz had fallen into the end zone for that extra yard, I would have been knocked out of the playoffs.
Wow.
I ended up not in our Familia League, in my Dodger front office.
It's a game of inches, man. It's a game of inches.
I ended up tied. Oh, and this was because, and the only reason I won that playoff spot was because the team that had Zach Ertz had a 60-point lead going into Monday Night Football, but the team that was playing, the opponent had Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, OBJ, and Sony Michel. So it made up that 60-point lead.
Wow.
Ended up beating, but yeah, that one. So it ended up coming down to tiebreakers, and we had 6 more points than the team, and they would have scored and gotten that extra yard. Yeah, that would have been the difference. So
it's a game of inches, man.
It's a game of inches. So another game of inches. Jets 3-10 at Dolphins 6-7. The Dolphins are 10-point favorites. I know you love their defense this week, Primo. I know you love their defense.
I know. Yeah, I have them. I have them in Seattle. I mean, I have a bye this week, obviously, but yeah, I would. if I didn't have a bye this week, I'd be salivating at this matchup. Miami -10, take Miami for sure. The Jets are just another train fire, as I call it. Train wreck plus dumpster fire. It's a train fire. I mean, I'm looking at and if you're in DFS, Tua's a great value pick this week. Sack him up with Jalen Waddle in your DFS league, your DFS team this week. I think Tua's a huge discount under some of the other QBs, but I think Tua's going to go off. The Jets defense against wide receivers is not very good. Against a quarterback, not very good. And the Jets are 3-10. I think the Tua Waddle connection is going to be big, and that's a nice stack for your DFS team. Tua's going to go off. That's who I'm starting. I'm starting for sure Waddle, for sure Gesicki, for sure Tua. I think their entire running back core is.
And Devontae Parker, he's back. He's getting
Parker. Yes, exactly. Yes, there you go. Parker. Yes, I forgot to mention Parker. But I think Myles Gaskin and all their running backs have COVID, right?
I believe so. Yeah. I mean, they might have been ruled out. I don't think they've been ruled out yet. So maybe if they pull up,
I think they might have
negative test by Saturday.
I'm not sure, but even more of a reason why Tua is your guy, because if their running back is like some guy named like the backup wrestler in WWF like in 1985 when the guy it was like Junkyard Dog against like Bill Smith, like that guy's gonna lose. That's not the guy you want to root for. So yeah, it's gonna be a pass heavy game plan for Miami, and I look for Waddle to get 2 TDs and like chunk points this week for sure.
So now on the Jets side, there's a possibility that Michael Carter comes back from injury. So ankle injury. I've got him on
offense defense, man.
I've got him in our Familia League. I've got him on 2 leagues, our Familia League and both playoff teams. I'm tempted to fire him up.
They're number 2 against RB, man. What do you think?
Someone's got to get balls, and he catches balls out of the backfield. So I'm going to be tempted. I'm going to be very tempted.
I mean, temper your expectations there. If it's like a must do, or you're like flip flopping between one guy or another, and they're kind of like equal. You may get some garbage time stuff there, right? Because I think it's going to be blowout. Dolphins are favored by a lot, right? What are they
10.
favored by?
Yes.
10 point.
Yes,
yeah. So I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be more than that. I think by the end of the third quarter, the Dolphins will be up by 3 touchdowns. Is in my guess. So yeah. I think, so look for Michael Carter. Maybe it's in garbage time. Maybe it's like you say, some quick dump offs, and the Miami Dolphin defense will be like calling for tea times already. From the huddle. So Carter could probably get some chunk yards late in the game. So that might not be a bad garbage time pick.
Chunk yards, garbage time. Gotta love that.
The chunk yard. He'll be the chunk yard dog.
All right, so we got a NFC East game. We got the Cowboys 9-4 at Giants 4-9. Another one of my bets. So Cowboys are 10.5 point favorites, 44.5 point over under. You got Zeke saying he's feeling better for the Cowboys. Do we believe him? I don't know if I believe him.
I don't know. That's a tough one, man. I mean, I've watched him the last couple of games, and he's had a visible limp, so it's hard to say. It's hard to trust that he's.
He hasn't even gotten past 51 yards. In several weeks.
Definitely not the Zeke that we're used to. I think Dak is going to have a bounce back game. He's had a couple of clunkers the last couple of weeks, and as you know, he's your guy in our Familia League. So I think he's due for a big game. Giants defense is. Not very good against the wide receivers, right there, George?
No, number 29 against the wide receivers. So,
exactly. So them boys are going to eat. Them Cowboys are going to eat. Those guys. You have your boy CeeDee Lamb. Is going to get yards and chunks. Everybody. I think the whole receiver core on the Cowboys is going to eat.
Sorry, Primo Jose. It's going to be CeeDee Lamb and Dak.
Yeah, I see Dak going over 300, George. You get that 5-point bonus, and it's if it's either going to be Amari Cooper or CeeDee Lamb. I think those are going to be his guys this week. So you're going to have to cross your fingers that it's CeeDee Lamb. I know Amari Cooper had the touchdown last week. But we'll see, man. I'm rooting for you, man.
So we got the Giants on the other side. I don't know. I mean, there's no talk about Daniel Jones coming back.
Yeah,
You got Saquon.
Doesn't look
He
good.
had 95 total yards last week, and it's his high since week 4. He did miss 4 games in there with an injury. Yeah. And the Cowboys are pretty good against the running backs. Number 6. Is it possible you could think about sitting Zeke? I mean, sitting Saquon? I don't know.
During playoffs, it's all matchups. You know, you kind of gotta look. It's all like, you know, Moneyball, you know, sabermetrics kind of stuff. It's like, okay, when you're making your picks, you gotta, you know, like you're saying, you know, they're number 6 against the running back. You got to kind of set your lineup based on the numbers. You know what I mean? You can't necessarily go by gut feeling when it comes to the playoffs, man, because, you know, you're one and done. You know, so you really got to go with the data and set your lineup that way. So it's like, okay, Saquon against the number 6 defense against running backs. You know, how does that stack up against some of the other guys that are in your lineup or on your bench, and who has a better matchup? You know, because that's what playoffs comes down to, is matchups, man. It doesn't really matter what your guy did all season. Oh man, this guy's been awesome, blah blah blah, whatever. But if he's going up against, you know, if he's a wide receiver and the team you're going up against is number 1 against wide receivers, you know, you may not start him this game because it is the playoffs. As much as you're stuck on, you know, being in love with your guys, the playoffs, you kind of got to throw that out and just kind of be numb to it and just set your lineup based on what the numbers say, what the data says.
Yeah, vámonos. All right, so let's go over to another NFC East game. Washington football team 6-7 at the Eagles 6-7. Philly is a 7-point favorite, 44-point over under on the Washington side. What Antonio Gibson are we getting? He got 10 carries last week, and in the previous 4 games, they averaged almost 24 carries per game. The Eagles are number 5 against the running back. I don't know if I don't want to put the game into Taylor Heineke's hands if I'm Ron Rivera. Do you think we see more? Think we see more carries for Mr. El Senor Gibson?
Yeah, I see it happening. I mean, yeah, they are playing at Philly, which is a kind of a rough environment to play in, as everyone knows. As everyone knows, but yeah, you know, until you got to roll with Antonio Gibson. You know what I mean? He's Antonio Gibson. You know, the guy. You know, he does his thing. He scores points, and you know, the Eagles are number 5 against the run. You know, it's good, but yeah, I think Heineke is good enough, as he's shown, to kind of open the offense up a little bit. I think Gibson will have some holes there. Gibson's done enough this year to show that he's definitely above average. He's going to do some things against the Eagle defense. I think he'll be fine. A good start there.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the Eagle offense. Now, it came out today that Jalen Hurts has a high ankle sprain. This coming from Adam Schefter. So
those are the worst, right? High ankle is the bad one, right?
That's 4 to 6 weeks right there. And I don't know if he's going to try and get it out. Definitely a tough guy, but do you trust Gardner Minshew as the starting quarterback? Do you trust Devonta Smith and Dallas Goedert?
I don't know, man. Because
Goddard did get 105. Goddard did get 105 yards against, in the last game with Minshew.
With Minshew, yeah. And I was just going to say the exact same thing, is because I had Smith. But I think I attribute that more to the fact that Minshew, probably in practices, he probably practiced more with Goddard, because it just seems like he was not even looking at Devontae's way, which is kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? This is like the Heisman winner. Devontae's had some big games this year. He's put up, big points and done some great things. He's fast, great hands. So the fact that Minshew wasn't even looking for him was kind of weird. So I almost see that as kind of like an anomaly. Minshew obviously came in off the bench, after Hurts went out and stuff like that. So I think now, since then, I think, they're on the same page. I think they've obviously practiced together and gotten on the same page as far as different plays and whatnot. So I think Minshew is going to be looking a lot more for Smith to open things up a little bit. And I like Minshew, even though he's not a good fantasy QB, but when he throws, if he does enough to get your wide receivers some points, even though he throws picks and stuff like that. But he can do enough in a game to get your wide receivers some nice chunk plays and some couple scores. So I like Devontae in this game.
I don't know. Almost a ver on that. I'm a little worried about that. I'm a little bit worried about Devontae. Even though the Washington football team is number 4 against the tight end, I think Goddard is going to get plenty of volume. Devontae, I really hope so.
Washington's 19 against receivers, man. So he can do some things.
Yeah, I'm still going to look for. I'm still going to look for that. Two receptions for 15 yards is really scaring me. So
no, I know, but like I said, I think it was more of a practice thing and a familiarity thing.
Could be.
That's my opinion because I have no idea. I have no clue. I'm not like.
Yeah, you do. You're on a podcast. You know. Tú sabes.
I'm not. Adam Schefter. I don't have the inside scoop, man.
Yeah, we're not. Hey, you know what? We're not. We're not Nick Sirianni getting. Calling.
No, we're not on the inside.
We don't have a hotline to him.
We're not on the circle of trust, man.
Out of the circle of trust. Well, Pittsburgh is going to. Pittsburgh, the Steelers, 6-1, are hosting the Tennessee Titans, 9-4. The Titans 1.5 point favorites, 41.5 point over under. Now, the Steeler defense, that Thursday night game, I mean, there were holes in that, running lanes. You and I could have fit through those together, running next to each other.
Were you watching the game? Somebody put a tweet up during the game like, hey, I could play a ball against these guys. I can run the ball against these guys right now. I can't remember. It was like some retired guy posted up. Like I forgot who it was, but it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. The holes. Dalvin Cook was walking through, hey, what's up, guys?
I thought if they wouldn't have, I don't know why they stopped. I don't know why they de-emphasized the run because I mean it was just I thought he was going to go for 300 yards and
he could have. Like you said, that's bad coaching. Why not? Why aren't you still running? That's dumb. Allowed Pittsburgh to come back in that game, which was ridiculous. It was ridiculous that happened. Why you're not running still is like a red flag. What the heck is the coach thinking? That's just dumb. And you have Madison too. Both of these guys just flip flop them in and out, and they both could have run for 150 yards. It was crazy.
Oh man!
But yeah, so to your point, though, I think. Are
you firing up both Deontay Foreman and Dontrell Hilliard?
Deontay Foreman for sure. I think he's going to be the guy. He's going to run through them holes just the same way that Dalvin Cook did. Because Steelers defense against the run is just god awful. We saw that. I mean, because the Titans' offensive line, they were able to open up holes for Derrick Henry. They're going to open up stuff for Deion, especially against this Steeler defense. Oh my God, Deontay Foreman is going to become like an all-star after this game. So fire him up for sure. Hilliard, maybe not so much. I think they're going to lean heavy on Deontay Foreman, big time.
On the Steelers side, does it look like Najee Harris is getting a second wind? He's got 107 and 104 total yards respectively in the last 2 games. After he had two games where people are starting to talk about, is he getting a little tired? The Titans are number 4 against the running backs, and the Steelers, famously don't have a great line.
Najee Harris, though, he's a receiver too.
Yeah.
He I mean, there was a game earlier this season where he had 9 targets.
Oh my God,
something crazy like
no,
that.
he had in the teens.
Yeah, I think it was
he got 9 receptions.
That's right, crazy. So you're not sitting Najee Harris. I mean, especially after I think last week Big Ben threw up a crazy line, 300 yards, 2 TDs, and I don't know. I mean, that was big numbers. Big Ben's. I have him as my backup QB in my money league. So Big Ben can still do big things, and he likes throwing the ball to Najee Harris. So if the Titan defense is going to stop the run, then Harris will just pop out, and and again, he's one of those guys like Derrick Henry. You don't want to tackle. You don't like to tackle. So Najee Harris gets out there. He's like a big bowling ball. He's going to run through some guys, and yards after catch is big for Najee Harris. And you're not sitting Najee Harris in this game. No way.
So el juego más feo of the weekend, Texans 2-11 at the Jaguars 2-11. You're talking about train fire. That's the Jaguars fire right now. Did you hear that one of that the kicker who got cut pointed out that did you hear that?
Urban Meyer kicked him.
What is going on here?
I mean,
the news cannot stop with this guy.
Here's the deal. Jaguars are not going to – the head coach next year is not going to be Urban Meyer. Even though, leadership over there is like, oh, we're staying the course. There's no way. This guy clearly has no idea what he's doing. Last week, as everyone knows, he went on the podium and they're like, hey, this guy that on your defense, what's up with him? Oh, yeah, he's starting to play a little bit more. And the guy played 0 snaps in the game. Like, you don't even know who's on your team, bro. You don't even know what you're doing. You have no idea how to be an NFL head coach. And everyone knows it. It's not a secret, I don't think, that Urban Meyer's not going to be back. You take the loss. You go find somebody else. Eric Bieniemy, whatever. You find somebody that's not named Urban Meyer. And you start over from Trevor Lawrence is way too valuable, man, to have this. I mean, and Urban Meyer's coming out and like the word around campfires that he doesn't like James Robinson. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's crazy. This guy's crazy.
So, Primo, we got a question. We had a question in our chat. Marcos Valdez. Orale, Marcos. How you doing, baby? Herbert or Rodgers this week?
Man, let's go back to so Herbert is playing. We went over that.
Home
Herbert
against KC, and Rodgers is on the road against the Ravens, who have been giving up yards and passing.
Man, I mean, Herbert's. I don't know.
First off, congratulations on having these two guys as your quarterbacks. So
yes, exactly. What a horrible problem to have. I mean, I have Herbert, so I can speak a little bit on Herbert. I mean, the guy just puts numbers in chunks. Hopefully, you have the 300-yard bonus. Chiefs defense, let's take a look. They are number 3 against the QB, but Herbert's playing at home, and he's just kind of on a roll right now. A couple of games back, he struggled a little bit. I can't remember who it was against, but he had a little bit of a tough time. I think him playing at home with Keenan Allen back.
At Denver. He had a tough game at Denver.
At Denver. Maybe it was the altitude. I don't know, but playing at home, I don't know if you have the stats real quick, George, on what Herbert's done in all of his home games, but the guy's a stud playing in LA, man. And Keenan Allen, as I mentioned before earlier in the show, Keenan Allen's had 2 weeks to just hang out at the pool and the spa and just like do nothing and play golf. So he's fresh, ready to go. He was COVID, so it's not like he was hurt or anything. He's had a week of vacation. You give Keenan Allen a week of vacation in the NFL, this guy's going to come out like with springs in his feet, and he's going to be – I mean, if he already had separation before, Keenan Allen's going to have even more separation. I mean, Herbert's going to find him dink and dunk all game long. He's going to put up numbers in chunks. Aaron Rodgers is playing against who?
At the Ravens, who are giving up some yardage to the quarterbacks. So they're number 20 against the quarterback and number 24 against the wide receiver.
Again, I think this is maybe a coin toss. With Lamar Jackson being out, I see the Ravens defense being out in the field a lot. I think the Packers control the clock here, and the more the Packers are on the field, the more yards, the more opportunities that Aaron Rodgers has to find his guy, Devontae Adams, and everybody else on that squad. Although, how are they doing against the run? Because Dylan's just been a beast. The Ravens are number 1 against the run. Oh yeah. Aaron, I mean, this is a coin toss for me. If I had a pick here, I'm flipping the coin because I think these might be QB1 and QB2 for the week. I mean, Rodgers is going to be on the field a lot. Lamar being out, it's going to be all Packers offense on the field. I think all Chargers offense. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough. What do you think, George?
There's a part of me that leans toward Rodgers just because the offensive line. You got the left tackle at the
Chargers. That's right.
The Chargers. He's out, and he's been the anchor of him in the center have been the anchor of that line. So I'm wondering if he's going to be seeing a little more pressure than usual. And I'm kind of leaning a little bit toward Rodgers because I can see that. Yeah,
with their main left tackle out, I can see that. But again, I see a lot of dink and dunk to Keenan Allen. The guy's going to get open. You give the guy 1.5 seconds and he'll be wide open. That's how I see it because he's, like I said, he's well rested, not injured. The guy's he's going to eat his Wheaties that day. So like I said, it's going to be either or. But Keenan Allen's going to have a monster day on Sunday. Aaron Rodgers as well. So for me, it's a horrible problem to have, buddy. But yeah, either way, I think you're okay. But I think I'll lean to you, George, only because the left tackle's out. I think Aaron Rodgers gets a little bit of the lean there.
All right, so we're gonna talk. I'm gonna buzz through this Texans Jaguars game. Brandon Cooks got 11 targets last week, but previous 3 weeks he got 3, 5, and 6 targets respectively. It's a decent matchup against the Jaguars. I think it's gonna. I think he's the only guy who's starting viable for the
Yeah.
Texans.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks for sure. Start him up again. The Jaguars is just they're 2-11. They're train fire. You're starting Brandon Cooks. Heck yeah, he's the number one guy. 11 targets last week. He'll get another 11 at least this week. He's doing some things for sure.
And you got the Jaguars, James Robinson. He better start and he better get at least 20 carries because this is the number 30 defense against running backs.
What was his line last week, George? What was James Robinson?
It was ugly. It was ugly.
4 carries for like 12 yards, or like 6 carries.
Muy fail. I'll tell you in a second.
I think 6 carries for 4 yards or something like that. Something like ridiculous.
Yeah,
it was really bad. So, like I said,
6 carries for 4 yards.
Yeah, it was a train fire. What are they even doing over there in Jacksonville? Seriously, how can you start a guy? I mean, James Robinson in the last 2 games has like 30 yards in 2 games, George.
Yeah.
How do you start him?
Yeah.
That's my question. I'll leave it rhetorical, but I can't. Like, this is playoffs. Like, how can you do it? I don't know.
So I'm looking at Joe Mixon. He
Yep.
got sick in the last game. He's had a 2-game mini slump where he's had 58 and 54 rushing yards. But Craig Reynolds, that guy we just talked about with the Lions, he just stomped on Denver for 99 total yards. This game is in Denver, so I don't know if I'm expecting big things from Mixon, but I think he's gonna. I think he's got to get much more. I think he's gonna get more than 58 yards. I mean, the Broncos are good on defense, so. And your guy Javonte on the other side, he got 15 carries last week. Gordon got 24. How do you see them kind of splitting up the carries?
Man, that's a tough one, man. Javonte's been. I mean, last week he had 20 points, 20 fantasy points in our standard league, man. The guy just he scores points so Gordon, I think each of them had 2 touchdowns, right? It's like. It's hard to say. It's hard. I mean, it's kind of hard to figure out. All I know is that they're running on all cylinders, man. Both of these guys are having success, no matter who they play. Both of these guys are doing their thing. I think Javonte. I think I heard he's first in the league in yards after contact. Is the yak monster Javonte?
Yep.
So
stud.
He's a stud. I mean, at this point in the season, you can't sit Javonte. You can't. I don't think you can sit Melvin Gordon either. I don't know if anybody has both of them on their squads, but in my opinion, you're starting both of them.
Yeah, I think you're starting both of them. All right, so Falcons 6-7 at 49ers 7-6. The 49ers are 9-point favorites. They've not been great at home this year, but 45.5 point over under. Now on the Falcons side, Kyle Pitts is looking like a disappointment to people, but he's got a shot at 1,000 yards receiving as a rookie. Wow. Going up against the number 1 defense against the tight end since week 10. I actually have that quandary.
How many touchdowns does Kyle Pitts have this year?
Only a couple.
I think
no es mucho. I think you're right. I think it is just 1.
So from a fantasy standpoint, how can you start him? You know what I'm saying? Like, again, it's the playoffs.
Well, the tight end sucks. Don't forget, tight end sucks.
Right. So let's see here. Let's see. So
it's just 1 TD. Adios mío. How bad?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know if I can start him. I don't know if I can start Kyle Pitts, man.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
That's a tough one. It's like he's like a start if you have no one else in place of Kyle Pitts, then start Kyle Pitts. But I mean, I don't know. I don't see him. We're in what, week 13, week 14? What are we in? Week 13?
15. 15 quinceañeros.
I don't have a bye, so I don't even know what week it is. We're in week 15, and the guy has 1 touchdown. What are the odds that he gets one this week? Not high. What's the percentage? 1 touchdown in 14 weeks is like, what, 4%? He gets a touchdown 4% of the games. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not worth. Again, we're going back to data. You're in the playoffs. It's all data. It's all sabermetrics. Okay. It's all Moneyball type stuff. It's all, what do the numbers tell me to do? The numbers are telling you that Kyle Pitts is not your guy. He has 1 TD. And if your goal in playoffs is to score more points than your opponent, or else you're you're taking a vacation. I don't know how you start Kyle Pitts based on what the numbers say.
So on the other side, you've got Deebo Samuel with 7 targets in the last 3 games, just 7. We'd love to see 7 to 10. He's running like crazy.
Yeah,
he's right. He's still been a wide receiver. He's still been a top 12 wide receiver because he's been running in touchdowns. He's so lethal that way.
Yeah. So Deebo as a wide receiver, that's one question. But Deebo as a fantasy player, I'm not worried. They give the ball to guy a lot.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna close it out with this game because we already talked about Packers at Ravens with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Seahawks at the Rams. Rams are 4.5 point favorites, 45.5 point over under. Are you worried? I'm a little worried about DK Metcalf, Primo. He's the wide receiver 56 since week 10, and he's got averaging only 6.9 fantasy points per game during that time in the Rams.
Because Tyler Lockett is the man. I mean, it's pretty much become clear every time that I turn the TV on. Tyler Lockett wide open, 90-yard touchdown. Right? Isn't it just me? Or Tyler Lockett is wide open for a 50-yard touchdown, or Tyler Lockett is wide open for a 30-yard touchdown, or Tyler Lockett is wide open for a 70-yard touchdown. It's Tyler Lockett. And Russell Wilson loves him some Tyler Lockett. And it's become clear. Yes, DK Metcalf is built like LeBron James and is a big dude and he's huge and he has all that great stuff. But Tyler Lockett gets 10 yards wide open on his defender because he's so dang fast. And that's what Russell Wilson wants. Because their O-line is terrible. He has to get rid of the ball quickly. So Russell Wilson drops back, and there's a guy about to hit him. He just tosses a rainbow up in the air, and the next thing you know, Tyler Lockett just runs underneath it, and his defender can't catch him. That's what Russell Wilson's doing. That's why Tyler Lockett is doing what he's doing, because Russell Wilson just chucks rainbows, and Lockett runs underneath them and catches them. So that doesn't work with Metcalf. Metcalf is not that guy. And unfortunately, that's just how it is. I'm worried about DK Metcalf, man. Big time. He's a boomer bust. He's as crazy as it sounds. He's boomer bust. He really is.
And people were picking him no later than the 3rd round in drafts.
No later than 3rd, exactly. He's mid second to late second. It was DK Metcalf was where he was drafted, and he's boomer bust. Unfortunately, like you said, the numbers don't lie. He's wide receiver 56 since week 10. That's not fake. That's what the numbers say. Is that going to change anytime soon? Probably not. As NFL teams go into the late weeks and trying to vie for playoff spots, they're going to do what got them there. They're going to do what has given them success in the last couple of games, and it's Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett is the man on that team. It's not even close. So I'm sorry if anyone's there with DK Metcalf, hoping that he's going to do great things. He's boomer bust. So you can cross your fingers and start him, but man, it doesn't look good. Lockett's the guy.
Well, let's close it out talking about the Rams. Van Jefferson, he's a man. He's got TDs in each of the last 3 games. OBJ is likely to miss. I could see him getting, between 7 and 10 targets in this game.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the Seahawks are number 6 against the wide receivers, but that secondary has been beat up. Jamal Adams is going to be out for the season. So I love Van Jefferson in this matchup because I think Cooper Kupp's going to eat. I think the Rams may hopefully found another gear, and they're gonna have to run the table to get to the playoffs.
Yeah, with OBJ out, he's now like Robert Woods 2.0 now. They're gonna just run that same offense with Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and now it's gonna be Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson. So, and I remember a couple and before going out, Robert Woods had some big games. There was some games where he had I think there was a game he had 15 targets and some big yards. So yeah, I look for, especially they're at home, nice, comfy, cozy confines of SoFi Stadium, and like you said, the Seahawks defense is a little bit beat up. Yeah, I look for both these guys, Cooper Kupp and Van Jefferson, to have good games. Van Jefferson, you're starting him for sure.
Well, gracias everybody. Eso es todo for our show. Special thanks to Anchor for being our hosting network and making sure independent podcast gets out to Apple, Google, Spotify. Also, thank you to YouTube. Muchas gracias, YouTube, familia. Please like and subscribe. It'll really help us out. Go to our familiaffb.com website. I'm gonna be posting articles for more in-depth articles on Adentro y Afuera for the next for the playoff weeks. And Hector, where are we finding you on Twitter?
At what is it? At what the heck? There it is. 2 T's.
Yeah. For me, at Jorge Martin 17. Ricky, you can find him at Ricky Torres TV. Don't forget Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Familia FFB. Mucha suerte con everybody for your fantasy playoffs. And remember, todos somos familia.
Adios, amigos. Salud.